I didn't hit record yet. Let me
Hi,
repeat
Barbara.
that.
Did that-
Hi,
Are
Hi,
Today,
Alan.
you
John,
recording?
hello.
Hey, Steve, what's the class on today?
today the class is about computers and computers for photographies, and we're going to review all the computer specs and what you should look for when buying a computer for doing your post-processing. That's today's subject.
I'm excited.
You should.
Something Rainey was talking about.
Yeah. I put it turns out on the top of my head, I basically know what I'm looking for. But boy, when you try to look it up and write it out, took a fair amount of work. And so anyhow.
Didn't the Adobe have minimum requirements?
Yes, they do. I mean, that's a very, that's a nice guideline, but it doesn't explain any of it and what the, how to look for it or whatever. And so, and those are the minimum requirements to be able to run Lightroom and Photoshop.
It seems to me you just have to go out and buy a high-end gaming system and then you're all set.
That's one way. That's one way to do it. You buy a high-end gaming system, you've got everything you need. Makes a perfect photographer's computer. And actually, that's what my desktop is a high-end gaming one with liquid cooling. So
Liquid cooling.
yeah, well, the more powerful the computer is, now we're getting ahead of it. You'll hear all about this. I'll talk about this. The more heat they generate.
I do liquid cooling.
You're all set.
I am.
My bottle goes away.
You know, I've never played a game on a computer ever.
Nor have I.
Yep. I don't want to monkey with the space on my computer, and my kids stay off my computer. When they were little, we had, well, no, for a couple of years, but then I realized how much memory those games took when they had them. So I just never was interested.
That's one of the disadvantages. I'll be talking about that of buying from a store like Best Buy or Fry's or something. Those prepackaged computers, they come with all this bloatware on it that you don't want or need. And when I've done that, that's the first thing I do is go into the settings and remove all that stuff I don't want.
Does that negate your warranty if you go in and blow it out, the settings and stuff?
I have no idea.
Not the bloatware.
It doesn't affect your
No.
warranty? Okay.
The manufacturer, whoever it was, got actually paid to put that bloatware in there.
Oh,
So they're happy. They've already got their money. And if you don't want it, then take it off.
I think we paid for it actually.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to buy a car that I could just check off the boxes of what I want. I don't want, some of the fancy things that come with the new cars today. And I just.
You
Just
can
order
do
it.
that. You can
That's the
do
big
it.
advantage of ordering it. Go down and fill out the forms and order it.
Yeah,
Exactly
You
what
can
you
just
want.
check it off. I did that.
You
Yeah.
can build
Yeah.
your own.
What kind of car did you buy that you did that?
I got a Honda CRV. No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, I did. I got a Honda CRV. And before that, I got an Oldsmobile Cutlass. And I didn't want all this stuff on there.
Yeah.
So I had to wait.
Yeah, you'll wait.
You're going to wait.
90 days or so, probably.
Hi, Tommy.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah, it's a while.
For you Costco.
Hey,
users,
Stefan.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Costco members, the auto program to buy a car through Costco is extremely attractive price-wise.
Really?
I did that once a long time ago, and they did right by us. That was also a Honda.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically a no negotiation kind of deal, the way the old Saturns used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make contact with the dealer. You fill out your forms, what you want in the way of a car first. Give it at the Costco. Costco reaches out to their member dealers, and they'll match you up with the closest one that has your car. And you just sit down, sign the papers. There's no negotiation.
Yeah, that's what I want.
And it's about a
Yeah, you
20%
can get a
or more
car.
discount.
Wow.
Wow, that is a
Great.
big savings.
Yeah.
You can get a car like the Honda for about $3,000, but it's made in China.
Which one?
China's duplicating and redoing all of our cars, for sale over there. Stealing
Oh.
all the car designs and everything else.
Prior
All
to
the cars almost
1993, China produced almost no cars. Today, they are the #1 producer,
Oh,
making 28 million cars a year compared to maybe 13 million for US.
I'll be darned. Well,
Wow. Well, hopefully they're good cars and
Yeah.
they'll last a while.
I agree with you, Linda.
Speaking of cars, one year the Chevrolet thought that China was infringing one of their patents. So they took a door from one of their cars and they took a Chevette and took off their door and put it on their door. It was a perfect fit.
well,
oh,
They're copying our cars.
yeah.
Or they, steal from this car, that car, and add to this car.
Yeah.
Well, General Motors has factories in China and producing cars,
Yeah.
like especially the Buick. For some reason, the Chinese love the Buick.
Oh,
So,
they do.
yeah,
Hi, Barbara.
Buicks.
I,
Mm.
well, I'm gonna take my little Honda as soon as I decide what I want. And I'm shipping it to my grandson in Dallas. And it's so reasonable, that I think it's like $1,100
Oh.
from my door to their door.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many miles do you have on your CRV?
About 170.
It's got
But-
a lot of miles left.
It's 20 years old because
Yeah.
I worked at home a lot for the hospital. I was working at home.
Yeah.
So it took 20 years to get, and I take care of it like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, even a new, a used car for him would be like 7,000, 8,000. I mean, something decent.
Decent, sure.
Yeah, that was
Should
more
be a lot
reasonable.
cheaper.
All right. Well, we've got 18 people and it's 3:07. The door is closed. Today's class is going to be about computers, but before we start, does anyone have any announcements? I know somebody probably wants to talk about tomorrow, what's happening tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Who wants to address that?
I will.
All right.
We're gonna have our little field trip, our gathering, our social distance gathering. So at the VA Gardens, and we're gonna meet about where the gazebo is. So walk on through, and we're gonna practice shooting flowers together, and or any vegetation. That's kind of what you can shoot whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Shoot your car against the greenery. I don't know. But we're just going to get together and it'll be nice. But we're not bringing food. We're not, like we were always, the ladies of the therapy program always brought ample food and snacks. And that's not happening this time because we're supposed to not be sharing food. So bring your own water. I plan on staying for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Depends on how many people are coming. I hope to see you folks there if you want to come. If you do not feel like coming, don't. If this makes you feel at all uncomfortable, then that's not the place to go. But everybody there understands to stay away, no hugging and no high-fiving. And that
Spiritual hugs.
yeah,
elbows.
elbows in the air, man.
Yeah. Hearts,
Uh,
hearts.
so I hope we see a few of you down there tomorrow.
Okay.
And
We'll be
time,
there.
I
What's
was
that? 10
planning on,
o'clock.
I
10
was
o'clock
planning
in
on
the
being
morning.
there. I was planning on being there, but
Good.
this loose bridge on my upper right, it came loose.
Uh-oh.
So I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow and get this taken care of.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They'll probably do a little temporary something or other for you and schedule.
Yeah.
you. I hope you can come. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So 10 o'clock in the morning, and that does not negate we're still gonna do a Friday Zoom. So this is just extracurricular. What
You
is
get
it?
bonus points.
I saw the great
You'll become-
3D map of the
You'll add it
VA
to your
hospital
frequent
grounds.
flyer,
and-
Wait,
frequent
oh,
Zoom
we're talking-
miles.
Wait, okay, Steve
Frequent
first.
Zooming points.
Yeah,
Your
Zoom
zooming
point.
points. Yes, you get more
Yeah.
zooming points.
You can cash them in at Tuttle's. Tell them I said so.
When you collect 1,000 points, you can buy me a cup of coffee.
Okay.
I'm almost there. Yay.
I found a great 3D map of the VA hospital grounds that I downloaded and printed it out so I know where I'm going tomorrow.
Oh, good. All right. If I was gonna say, you live in local in Long Beach?
Cyprus, just across the,
Okay,
Across
if
the
you
border.
wanted to meet up outside of the VA, you could follow me in. But if you've got it, you feel
well, I
like
know
you-
where, yeah, I've got it.
Good.
If you wanted to share my screen real quick, Steve, I could pop that up.
Sure.
Hi, Steve.
Okay, go. Hi, Jesse.
I talked to Anthony.
How's he doing?
He was happy that I called, but he doesn't really want to talk to anybody right now.
Yeah.
He's going through some problems,
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
but he told me to thank everybody, and I told him that Steve wanted to talk to him, but he said he was going to text him or call him or
Yeah,
something.
I did get a text message from him today.
Okay.
Okay, that was after I talked to him, but he's hanging in there.
Okay, good. Thanks for doing that, Jesse. I did send him a text and he got back to me, but it was, it was very just, condolences and
Yeah, here's the map I found, the yellow lettering. After Amy suggested that I maybe show my wildlife presentation, I broke it into two. And this is the break for the first section to the second section. But
There's the things right there.
here's right
Yeah.
up here, I think is where we're going.
yeah. they
Right,
really
right,
improved
right.
this map. When I first started volunteering, they cut it off the water towers. It didn't go that far, but this is perfect. You can see just
This is a
just where
great
you
map.
go. Yeah.
This is called North Road, I guess, off of Bellflower, which will take you right there.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I
Except
saw
that-
on Google Earth, you could park anywhere along here, or there's a parking
Yeah.
lot right here.
That street that's
Let's
next
go
to
to
the
close.
to the trees, that street that's next to those trees on the end is a one-way street, so you
Yeah,
can only go
so-
one way.
So what you want to do, see where it
Road
says
is closed.
Anaheim Road there, Doug? It's just below that one corner road. If you take Anaheim Road in,
You go
that-
straight back and
yeah,
Right
that's
here.
that's not a one way. So you're gonna go past, you're gonna go, not
Wait,
that
you-
far. Go to, see number 10? Is that a number 10 on the map? You could do, okay, no, you're right. You know what? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you take, if you
Okay,
take,
this-
if
This
you
back
take,
here is one way coming out.
if you take Anaheim Road, it's two ways until you get by the vocational rehab. That's where it definitely turns into the one way, and you take that all the way to the end and make a left. And then
Right.
you'll make another left.
So
and
that
you'll
would be here coming in,
Yeah,
turn left.
Correct.
They're
And you
one
can
way
also
going-
park in number 6.
Is it all still one way?
It is a one way, but it's going the correct way to get to the garden. And you can
Okay.
park, you can park on the street right next to the gardens too. There's parking right
Seeing
along.
these red arrows indicating the one way.
Yeah.
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 So
It's
48
easy
is
to
where we're
find
going,
for
and
the
it looks like
towers.
you park along the side of the road or park in this lot here by the towers.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm done, Steve.
And Jesse, do you have Anthony's number? You mind giving it out, Jesse?
He doesn't want to take any calls right now, but I'll give you the phone number.
All right, because I want to give it to Dr. Ty. He's a psychiatrist or a psychologist there, and
I
he
don't know if we
knows.
should do that, Larry. I don't think we should do that.
No,
You can't give
Okay.
out his number and give it to a doctor. This is not the group for that. I'm sorry. We're
That's
kind
all
of
right. That's
crossing, some boundaries with just,
Blind. Okay, that's fine.
but that's a nice thought. Very kind of you.
mhm.
Well, the doctor can get it.
Yeah.
Does anybody want his phone number anyway?
Yes.
I would hold off on that unless he says he's ready to talk to
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
He told you
Yeah.
he doesn't want to talk to people, so
Yeah,
when
that,
when
What
that
happened,
changes, then
Jesse?
we can share it.
Yeah.
You got to respect his privacy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he
So what happened, Jesse? I missed that.
Well, he
It-
was just saying, right now, he's taking some time out because,
yeah,
losing his daughter was hard, so.
he
and
loves
he's
his,
Okay.
his brother.
taking some time out.
His
I know his,
granddaughter-
his brother-in-law,
Okay.
I knew his brother-in-law personally, Snake, that was his sister's fiance or boyfriend since high school. He passed away last week too. So they're going through a lot.
I
Wow.
think his sister passed away.
No, the boyfriend.
Well, yes, and his sister.
And his sister.
Yeah, and his sister
Oh,
and
my
the daughter.
God.
No, not his daughter, his granddaughter.
His
Oh,
granddaughter.
His
Yeah.
granddaughter. That's right, his granddaughter.
His granddaughter.
Wow.
All right. Well, on
Yeah.
that note,
Well, just keep him in prayer.
Yeah.
Okay? Just keep him in prayer.
let's go today's session, and today we're going to talk about computers. So, anybody have any questions? What a computer is?
I do.
Board.
All right. Let me get sharing screen here. All right. So there's been a lot of questions about computers and what you need for to run Photoshop and Lightroom, or to do any processing. It doesn't have to be Adobe. So, and on our site, on our file site, is a sheet of what Adobe's minimum requirements are. But let's just go over what a computer is and what you need to think about. First of all, if you're trying to choose a computer, there's two camps. There's the Apple computers and Apple operating systems, and Windows or most people call a PC. And if you're going to get a Windows PC computer, or if you have one, you really need Windows 10. Windows 10 is a really good operating system and is a very good place to go. Now, what about the layout of the computer? There are desktop computers, what some people call a tower. There are laptop computers, and there are standalone. Standalone has become a popular category. Now, what are they? Well, before we talk about that, I first had this at the beginning. I mean, at the end, I decided to put it now and at the end is budget. You really need to think about your budget, and of course you want the best, but you got to think about what you can afford and what your budget is. And then knowing your budget, then if your budget is a little bit restrictive, based on what I'm about to show you, you can decide where you're going to spend your money and what's realistic for you. So this is what whoops, come on, this thing jumps here so quick. All right, this is what a desktop looks like. This one has at least 4, 5 cooling fans, which we're going to talk about cooling and why that's important. This is a high-end gaming computer. But if you buy a desktop or tower, you'll also need a keyboard, a mouse, and at least one monitor. If you go with a laptop, they come with a monitor, a keyboard, and a touchpad, and I show a PC and an Apple here. But if you buy a laptop and you're going to do photography, it's very, very difficult to do processing with a touchpad. So I recommend you get a mouse. Inline computers, all the things that are inside a tower are integrated into the monitor. I'm a little leery of this because if you have a lot of power and processing power, you're generating a lot of heat. It doesn't leave much room for cooling fans and so forth. So personally, if you're going to do photography, I wouldn't recommend an all-in-one. If all you're going to use it for is the internet and socializing or whatever, social media, and maybe some word processing, then that would be fine. Okay, So the first thing you need to think about on buying a computer is the CPU, um, the processor, central processing unit. And if you want the most powerful CPU that you can afford. Now, the good news is any computer you buy today has a pretty powerful computer, CPU, especially compared to 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I can remember when CPUs were very slow. Today, most of them are very fast and powerful. Of course, the more faster, more powerful they are, the more expensive they're going to be. But the minimum requirement for Adobe basically meets about anything that's offered these days. But when you're looking at the processor, one of the things that's measured is the speed. You don't technically need to understand what a gigahertz is, but the higher that number, the faster the processor. But the one thing you want to look carefully at is make sure it's not any lower than 2 gigahertz. And this whole presentation is available on our shared drive, and I posted it in our files on our Facebook page. But this is a link. This was put out by HP, but it applies to any computer. A really good, more detailed technical explanation of what you should be looking for. Here's some examples. Here's what a CPU looks like. What you're looking for is Intel Core i5. That would be the minimum. i7 or i9 are faster. The example there, the Intel Core i7, 3.6 gigahertz. That's what I happen to have in mine. So now the next thing to consider, and this is actually really important. As I said, it's hard to go wrong these days with the CPU. Here's where you can really go wrong, is the RAM. That's random access memory. And it's like the desktop for the computer. It's where it's handling all the stuff you're doing right then. And you need to have an adequate amount of RAM in order to do post-processing. So how much RAM do you need? Well, you need to ask Doug. He's our RAM expert.
Minimum of 8.
Yeah, you need a minimum of 8 to avoid any frustration. If you really want to be safe and comfortable, you can go 16 gigabyte or more. Of course, that ups the price. And another advantage of going from 16 instead of 8 is, as you probably realized by now, 2 years from now, 8 gigabytes not going to be adequate. You're going to need more. So you can kind of be covered for the future and save having to upgrade your whole computer by spending a little bit more money now. Next, and this is important for video to make your pictures look right, and that's the graphic processing unit. Now, if you're buying a laptop, you need to pay close attention to their CPU. And if you get an Apple, Apple does a really good job with their screen. You might go wrong on this on the cheaper laptops or a cheaper tower or desktop, but the graphic processing unit is what renders the image. And so a minimum of 4 gigabyte of CPU is recommended. The other thing you have to be concerned about is the output. A few years ago, all your outputs to your monitors was serial. Well, if you buy a new computer and your monitor is an old monitor with serial port, you won't be able to plug it in. DVI is now obsolete. All the processors now come with HDMI and/or display ports. So the technology continues to change. Also, if you're buying a new computer, you may have to buy a new monitor at the same time. There are adapter cables, but you're going to lose some quality when you do that. Another area that's very important is getting an SSD, that's a solid state drive, for your operating system, and have a separate drive for your storage. The processor can work billions of cycles, but if it has to spend time waiting for your drive to feed it data, it's going to look slow. And a regular hard drive, the old style with the spinning platter and stuff like that, they're a lot slower than a solid state. So the right way to go these days is to have an SSD and then another terabyte regular hard drive for your storage. And a minimum of 256, because all these programs and stuff eat up a lot of storage these days.
I was going to say that's barely minimum.
Yeah, it's a minimum requirement.
If you load Lightroom, Photoshop, and your primary operating system, you'll gobble that 250 pretty fast.
That's right. Now, hard drive, you should be able to get at a reasonable price a 1 terabyte hard drive built into a tower or a laptop. Going from 1 to 2 terabyte on a laptop can be expensive. They may charge you a lot for it. 1 terabyte may sound like a lot, but I guarantee you, you're going to run out of it fast. If you have a desktop or tower, you can add more hard drives. I have 3 hard drives in my tower, and one of them is 6 terabytes. You can also buy external hard drives. For example, you can now get a 4 terabyte external hard drive for $88. That's what I paid for a 2 terabyte one a year ago. So you will always need more storage. And
Steve,
yeah,
do 1 terabyte equal 2,000 gigabyte?
Megabytes.
I read that somewhere.
Gigabyte. 1 terabyte would be
10,000 gigabytes.
Yeah.
10,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
So
And the,
now
in
the
the
thing,
metric system, everything is in tens and hundreds.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. We're the only one of 3 countries in the world that don't use the metric. But okay, here are some things you need to think about and know: is the power supply. Laptops, let's talk about power supplies for laptops. The big push on laptop marketing is to make them thinner, smaller, and lighter. Well, if you make them thinner and smaller and lighter, there's no room for the power supply.
Right.
So most of them, most laptops today have an external power supply. So even though you're getting a thinner, lighter laptop, now you got a power supply to carry around. On a desktop, so power supply is on a tower is very important, and a good power supply will be expensive and require a lot more cooling. So one way that manufacturers get pricing down is to offer a barely adequate power supply. The next thing to consider is cooling and cooling fans. Computers and processors generate a lot of heat. And this is another area where, well, they can get the price down by just barely adequately cooling it, or you can go the extreme, which I did. I have four or five cooling fans and liquid cooling built into it. So it's like it's got a refrigerator inside. The other thing to think about these days is can be very confusing, because we started with USB-A, there's USB-B, there's USB 3. Apple introduced all their computers now are USB-C. So you need to think about what accessories you have, what kind of USB ports they have, and what kind of cables you're going to need or buy. The I had one more thing to say about those cables. Oh, the number of ports. You're going to need, I would say, a minimum of 4 USB ports of some type on whatever computer you have these days, because a lot of peripherals and stuff have been offloaded. For example, you buy a laptop these days, you may not need a DVD drive or anything anymore, but you won't find laptops these days with DVD because they want to save space, which means you'll be buying an external DVD drive if you want to use DVD or CDs with it.
Steve, I might mention the last item you have on there, USB 3.0. It used to be 2.0 was the standard.
Yeah.
And 3.0 is now seems to be the standard, and it's much faster.
Yes. Yep, that's right.
And dying fast, being
Yeah.
replaced by the C.
Yeah, just a lot of PCs now are coming with USB-C. So it's hard to keep up with all the cabling. I've got a box full of useless cables, and I've bought a lot of new cables as I upgraded my computers and so forth. So that's something to think about.
Which
Yeah.
one, which port do I have in my Apple laptop?
USB-C.
Okay,
Yours is all USB-C, but you have adapters.
yeah.
And again, it's nice to have a built-in card reader, but a lot of times you don't get that. And so you'll need a card reader adapter.
Oh.
And those come with C port, they come with USB port, or usually the 2 different ports they're configured with. And when you buy an external hard drive now, you got, I don't have it listed here, but there's also what's called a USB data port. And a good hard drive connects with what's called a USB data port, which makes the external hard drive run faster. And then that will go to, so you'll get a cable that's USB A, B, or 3 on one end, and USB data port on the other, or USB data port on one end and USB-C on the other, when you, depending on what you buy for the computer. Here's a link to a really good buying guide from Consumer Reports. Also, I want to talk about antivirus. It's my opinion, and believe me, this is my opinion, not everybody's, that the Windows 10 Antivirus Defender is a really good antivirus, anti-malware solution, works quite well, and it's always updated. So I personally don't buy antivirus software anymore. I depend on the Windows. Now, some people feel as though they don't trust Microsoft 100%, and they also want a secondary antivirus program. You can do that. I feel I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that, because some of those have been known, like Norton. There's all kinds of reports about Norton slowing down your computer. So it's good to do a lot of Googling and reviewing if you're going to buy any antivirus.
But the
solution.
Windows 10 and that's built into the Windows
It's built
10.
into Windows. Windows
Okay.
10 has antivirus and malware built, anti-malware built in. It's called
Right.
Windows Defender.
Okay.
And you can change the settings on it and stuff. It's a little bit complex on how you do that, but if you just leave it the way it comes, it's pretty good. Now,
Can you remove it if you already installed Norton?
if you've got Norton, you can remove it. It's easy to do. You
Okay.
go to settings and look for, I just have,
Uninstall.
you look for programs and then uninstall it.
Yeah, but to get it completely out, you need to use the Norton uninstall add-in. You can download it very easily, but Norton tends to leave little tracks all over your hard drive. If
Yeah.
you just go through the normal Windows uninstall. Use the uninstall tool from Norton and it'll take it right out.
Okay.
Okay, like I said at the beginning, budget. So in speaking of budget, I'm going to talk about, I can't tell you how much to spend, but I can tell you if you see a low price, I'm more weary of something that's low price than high priced. If it's low price, why? What did they cut out? Well, one of the ways they save is, as I talked before, is cooling, inadequate cooling. The other is inadequate RAM. Hard drive, the size of the hard drive. These days, most of them, usually the CPU is usually not an issue on low price. But, and then of course, the video card is another way that something can be made low price. And this applies to, of course, to both laptops, desktops, and all-in-one. Although I could be wrong, and I'm more than happy for somebody to prove me wrong, but I wouldn't trust an all-in-one right now for processing photography.
Where do you buy your computers when you're looking for a computer? Do you get it from Apple or?
Well, on my desktop, I built my own. You can get, well, I don't know what about Fry's right now. This is a two-part answer. 10 years ago, I built my own. I got everything I needed to build my own and I got a big case and I got a huge power supply and lots of fans and a high-end everything I could and put it together myself. Probably saved at least $500 or more over buying one built that way. But that was 10 years ago, and about a month ago, the hard drive crashed. I'm not the hard drive, I'm sorry. The motherboard died. And so this time, what I did is, and like I said, I had my own SSD. I had my 3 hard drives inside. So I bought a high-end gaming computer and then took it apart and put the good stuff that I wanted from mine, I mean the hard drives and stuff, into the one I bought. And so
I personally like HP from Costco, or just
Okay.
Costco, because you can get a warranty through Costco that's probably a lot better than Best Buy or anything else.
yes,
Okay.
Costco is a good place. Pay close. They do have some good computers, so you got to pay attention to the specs. But Costco is a really good place, and again, they're great warranty. You can. Amazon is another place.
There's a place out in Tustin called the Micro Center.
Yes, that's right.
It's a very good store. I've bought a couple of computers there. They're very knowledgeable, and they, for me, being a semi-novice, I was happy to have them guide me through what I needed. They asked the right questions so that I got what I was going to pay for.
Yeah, that is a very good store. I used to work about a half a mile from Micro Center, so I was very familiar with it, and they are very knowledgeable. And I did build some computers through them. I've built a lot more computers than I've owned because I sold systems hardware where a computer was needed as part of the system. So I got familiar with people that built computers and what
Barbara,
stores stuff.
Also on the internet, B&H Photo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
B&H.
B&H. You go there and they have a really good laptop listed right now. I believe it's a Asus. If you go to B&H, I just looked on. That was another site I looked at when I was researching this. And B&H.
I have an Asus that I use.
Asus, yeah.
Barbara, I like my Apple because the help that I get on the phone when things are going wrong, they can't really help me with Photoshop questions or Lightroom questions, but they certainly have helped me with my computer questions. And the help that I get is always speaks English that's very clear, and they're kind and they're very patient. When I go into the store, sometimes you need to get an appointment with at the Genius Bar or something. They're always really nice. They've really helped me out of some scrapes, and I pay more to do it that way, but I do like the support.
Yes,
The mall stores are closed.
Thank you.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My PC, my desktop is a PC. I'm ambidextrous. My laptop is an Apple. I love the Apple laptop. I've had PC laptops. There are some really good PC laptops out there. But let's see, the Apple is expensive to start with, but like Amy said, when the stores were open, you could walk into the store. Yeah, you had to wait in line, but it's very convenient to walk in and if I get real help. Try doing that with a PC, walking into a mall. Assuming that we don't have our pandemic thing, just try walking in a mall and get help with a PC.
Yeah, no, if you go to Fry's, they're so rude.
Oh,
Oh, that's
No,
terrible.
I think
Yeah.
Fry's going out of business.
I
Well,
thought so.
I quit shopping there, so maybe. But you can still get Apple on the phone. I mean, they're still answering their phones, and if you do have to wait, they're apologetic, and they do all this old-fashioned courteous stuff that I really like. And
What about Dell? Does anybody have any?
I had a Dell, and I did not have good luck with calling Dell for help. They were awful.
Oh, okay.
But that was many moons ago.
Well, Amy, I gotta defend Dell.
Okay, good. That's fine.
I like Dell.
I do have a Dell, and every time I have a problem with it, I just call them up. And listen, I'm gonna have some issue with pop-ups, and some virus may be getting on my computer, so they take over the computer. Go in there, just clean everything up.
Good.
I do that once a year.
Good.
$99. So
it was probably 15 years ago I had a Dell, and they did not have good customer service. I'm really glad to hear they pulled their head out, because the computer itself was actually pretty darn good. I mean, it was pretty good.
We had Dells when I worked at home, and they were just workhorses. They were, we just beat them to death. And they were, I thought they were really reliable. I mean,
they still respected you in the morning after you beat them.
One question about the monitors.
The other thing about the Apple
Have
Store, they have
cameras and stuff.
Wait a minute. First off, Jesse, what do you have to say?
I say the Apple Store, they have classes on all different parts of the of the computer,
They are helpful. They're really helpful. I've taken those.
Those classes?
Yeah, I've taken a lot of them, and that helped me a lot.
They're not doing them now because the stores are all closed.
Yeah. So Rolando, what were you gonna say?
Monitors, because I look at everything. I look at Asus, I look at HP, I look at.
Are you still gonna talk about?
I don't see no cameras on those desktop anymore. Is that a true statement?
Steve?
Say that again. What's the question?
For desktops.
Yeah.
I check all kinds of monitors, and I don't see the button that looks like a camera anymore. So
You can buy, when you shop for monitors, you can buy them with or without the camera, or you can buy the camera and microphone as an accessory. I didn't get into monitor buying. The monitors, again, have came a long way. And for photography, what I did is I have 2 monitors on my desktop, and I did a search for monitors for photography. And based on that, I selected a certain type a model of ViewSonic that got a really good rating for photography. And I use I calibrate my monitor about every 2 weeks, recalibrate it. I forget somebody there
Did you
knows,
say
the line, I forget the name of the calibrator. It's a very common one
Like
that
a
I use for
spider?
calibrating the
Is
screen.
it you have a spider?
Yeah,
Cali-
something like that, something spider.
But you don't calibrate Apple, do you?
No, I don't calibrate the Apple.
That was
The
another
app-
thing, Barbara, I liked, is not calibrating the screen with an Apple.
Well, Apple has the calibrator built in. Yours does too. You go to your settings and you search for it, and it will recalibrate the screen for you automatically.
Is that something you do once in a while, just recalibrate it?
Yeah, I don't do it as frequently as I do my PC, although even I found with my PC, sometimes I forget to do it every 2 weeks. It very rarely changes very much, but occasionally, because I have two monitors, if one of them starts looking different than the other, that's when I get concerned.
So what does recalibrating do for your monitor?
That's a good question, and I don't know a good technical answer to give you. I can tell you what happens.
Oh, Larry, here it comes. He's
it
going to
takes-
assign you a project for next week.
Yeah, somebody's got a project. Explain it. I put this thing over the screen, and then it goes through this program, and it goes through a bunch of colors. It keeps changing color and changing intensity, and when it's all done, it shows you the before and after. So it sounds like a good, cool project. Maybe Friday, you can tell us a little bit more about it. Okay.
Can I ask a real quick question?
Yes.
Those two pictures I sent to you, Steve,
Yes.
now you sent them back
Right.
or yeah, and all right, okay.
You like them?
Yes, I do. I just was wondering if you could see a different, I didn't have
huge
the other
difference.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She sent me 2 old pictures she had scanned, and they look, I don't know they look like old pictures, old faded. So
Yeah, well,
I did it in Photoshop. I
Okay.
adjusted contrast, I've adjusted color balance, intensity, contrast, several other things. I took out a couple blemishes, and
okay.
One
And-
question
and-
I have is the printer. I'm at the printer, it prints out different sheets that are from what's on the original. Can you
Say that again?
adjust the color on the printer? Because the one when it prints right now, it's not printing. There's too much blue or too much something in the photos I print.
Well, that would I have no idea what printer you're using. I would check with the printer, the manual, and you can probably get the manual online and search for it, how to make adjustments, and how many color printers it is. I mean, if you go to Costco, I think those are, what are they using? 16 colors at Costco or something like that with their,
Oh, they're all multi-million colors or shades.
yeah.
The way you go about doing that is there's an ICC code based on the paper that you use. And you can set that code into your printer driver if you're going to use a particular paper that you like that has a certain color cast or whatever. If you download the ICC code for that paper and install it on your computer like a driver, and you just select that ICC code when you print on that paper, and it will make the adjustment.
Okay, thank you.
That really should go in line though with calibrating your monitor.
Also with Costco, I did this a long time ago. I haven't done it recently. I went to the website for my local Costco, to their photo thing, and they gave a code that you can put in your computer, into Lightroom or Photoshop, to adjust the color so it works with their printer
Oh,
to match it. And it was so. And Costco gives a very long explanation on how to do that. I haven't done it in a while because I haven't been printing at Costco in a while. So, all right, so this PowerPoint I used is available on our shared hard drive. I also put it on our group Facebook page in the files. Also, the guideline from Adobe is available both places. Does anybody have any questions? Well, good. That
You
means
did a real good job on the
You
computer.
did a good job, Steve. You did a great job.
Good job.
Hey, Steve,
Very informative.
Steve, can we go around the room and see what everybody's running as far as computers?
All right, now we start with Tommy.
What was that now?
What do we?
Oh
what do we-
yeah, I'm using a Dell Windows 10. That's what I use.
Catherine,
Same thing.
Larry, Captain Larry?
I have an HP and I also have a laptop HP with the camera and everything in, but it's supposed to be primarily just for my photos. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, Doug?
I have a Dell Ultra Sharp monitor.
Okay, Amy?
Apple? MacBook Pro? Isn't it
Mr.
Dell?
Kevin?
I have a desktop. It's an Apple iMac, an older version. I think it's 6 years old, maybe 7 years old. And then I have an Asus laptop, which I got, which has a big graphics card in it. So it runs my Adobe software on that.
And, oh darn it, the new guy, John, yeah.
John.
New guy.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you'd call mine. A friend of mine put it together for me, and it's a big tower. I have a gaming monitor, and the tower has either 6 or 8 fans, so it's pretty fast. And,
Okay, good.
but I think it'll last me for another couple of years at least without any upgrades. I did have a question though about if the external hard drives, I might need one of those. Is it very complicated to offload your photos onto the
No,
external hard drive? I've never tried that.
no, it's not complicated.
It depends on who you are. I had a terrible time. You take that- I had to have a special class and everything.
I remember that, Rainey. You needed help.
Yeah. Thank God for Steve Grove.
If you need help, talk to Rainey. She can tell you how to do it now.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah, Alan, yes?
Steve,
What?
I'm running a Lenovo. I got it for $500 at Fry's a number of years ago, but it was running an i7 processor with a, and then I upgraded it with a solid state drive and maxed out the memory. And it's running pretty good now.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll do it.
Yeah, Lenovo was originally IBM. and
IBM, yeah. I had a
Lenovo, a Russian
Was a
company,
good
bought
one.
them out.
Yeah.
But that was really
Who-
a
who was
big
ta- who's
improvement on
talking?
that.
It's not showing up here on who's talking.
Tom.
Tom.
Oh,
Akash.
Tom. Oh, I see. Okay. It's just all these little screens. Okay, Alan, what do you have?
I have a Dell Tower with an HP monitor, and I also have a Dell laptop.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I've had a Dell laptop and it was pretty good. I had it for a long time. Barbara?
Oh, I have an HP and it's actually Windows 8, which everyone hated. And so the company allowed you to go to a 10, with no, but I ran it all night and it didn't it didn't work, period.
Well,
They
I
had a
have-
lot of complaints about Windows 8.
There's somebody that can help you. He's got a business called he's the laptop expert. His name
Oh,
is.
I
Dean
passed, yeah, I
Shin.
passed today, yeah.
You saw it.
Yeah, well, it's close to my, it's
Right,
close to
right.
me.
The guy's really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we heard from Tom. Robert,
Yes,
do you have a computer?
I didn't hear you, Steve.
Tell us about your computer.
I don't have one.
Do you have an abacus?
Nothing that
Are you
fancy.
working off a phone or an iPad to get onto these meetings?
I'm on my phone.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Rainey?
It says HP and it says Intel, but I don't know how many, the storage capacity of it isn't very good. I'm thinking about upgrading. I'm gonna take everything personal off of here and send it to my mom.
And
Okay.
then what are you thinking of getting, Rainey?
Something more, I don't know. So I just need more, it's something easier because even though I had like 7,000 items that I'd recognized that were on the computer as far as photos, and I was able to finally download them with Steve's help, Steve and Kevin's help to my 2 terabyte external hard drive. But taking those photos off didn't clear my space up a lot. It's just stuff that's mandatorily on there that's just taking up space that you can't get rid of.
This is a good case of where it doesn't have enough RAM.
Yeah, I don't know what the RAM is, but it's not enough.
Yeah, you need more RAM.
It'd be perfect for my mom because the only thing she has to do is process her PayPal accounts and stuff. So
Uh-huh.
I just want something that has more RAM so I can have more capabilities.
Yeah.
Hey, Rainey, I would suggest that you might take that to a computer store, just, a little guy on the corner someplace near you, and have him go through it, because I bet you have copies of this and copies of that. And I bet if he went through it, he could find you a lot more memory on your computer. I just think there's more stuff stuck in there that's not identified.
What was the name of the computer guy, Steve, that you guys were recommending so I can write it down?
James Shin. He's a laptop expert. Let me look up his phone number.
They may also be able to put more RAM in that.
Yeah.
I've got the phone number right here.
Oh, okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm ready.
Okay, 714 area code,
Uh-huh.
529 0607.
0607.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And this is the one in Brea, right?
He's in Brea, yeah, it's kind of far. Where are you,
Yep.
Rainey?
It's not far. I have a car.
Oh, good.
But I live in Long Beach on Ocean and Shoreline.
There's several places here in Long Beach, Rainey, that you should be able to go to that do laptop repair, they do computer repair. You don't have to go all the way out to Brea to find a guy that can help you with your PC.
Okay.
There's tons of them around.
Look on Yelp.
If I have to
Okay,
download that.
Stephen.
no.
Just
Mr. Foreman.
Just go on your map thing on your phone and click where your location, and then under the near me, type in PC repair, and I bet you find 5 places within 10 blocks of your house.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll try that.
I have a HP Envy. It's a gaming computer, so it runs pretty fast.
We didn't hear any real noise coming from your
The mic's working
area
much
today.
better.
Your mic-
Yeah, your audio's real good.
Yeah. First
Oh, it's
time.
better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done something then.
Drop it in the right corner.
All this text.
Well, I tried to fix it. I did go into settings and work something there.
Oh, it's
so,
better, yeah.
It worked.
Whatever
Yeah, you
you
did a
is
good job. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, Ken, what are you doing?
I have an HP, and I also have an Apple Mac Pro.
Okay, MacBook Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Roland?
I got a Dell, it's 12 years old now, and it's limping, but it's still working. So, yeah, slow. And then I'm borrowing all this Dell laptop from my daughter, which we're sharing now because she's at school. So that's where I'm at, and I'm trying to beg from somebody to buy me a new one.
Christmas is coming up.
Steve, have you ever gone to those swap meets? I guess that's, with all the computer people and all the.
I wouldn't buy that.
kind of,
No.
Well, it's for people who want to put things together. It's, I don't know.
Pomona has those once a week, once a month.
Yeah, it's just for electronics and computers and people that
I'd be very
know.
skeptical of all those people.
Yeah, okay.
If you go there, count your fingers before you leave.
Their
Leave your
ancestors,
wallet home.
their ancestors sold snake oil, so.
Oh,
So,
Speaking of something along that lines, I've taken this 4-week class at the VA online for people with diabetes type 2. And this week, it was about medication and what they recommend, what the VA gives you and stuff. Then she says, and then you'll hear on TV all this stuff about, well, this will control your sugar and blah, blah, blah. She said, all that stuff does is make your pee expensive.
oh, wow.
Okay, so Bob, what are you doing?
Yeah, I have a laptop, and with Windows 10, I got a TV hard drive in there. I got a BenQ photo monitor that I just got about a few months ago, and I love that. It's got this hockey puck thing to do all the adjustments and the calibration. I haven't figured everything out about it. But back to your Windows 10, there's this cloud that comes with the Windows 10 called OneDrive. And you can use that with your hard drives. It expands the amount of hard drive you have. So I'm working on this project that has about 1,000 plus photos. I got it in a separate Lightroom catalog. So about 3 weeks ago, I decided I'd back that up on my OneDrive. I already have it backed up on a hard drive, on a USB hard drive. So anyway, I backed this up on the cloud, and after about a week, I'm working on the Lightroom, and I realized I'm working in the cloud, and I've been working in the cloud for about a week on there. And I didn't actually copy over, I moved it over. So all my files were in the cloud. And I thought, well, I'll move it back to my hard drive. And then I got to reading, and some experts on Google and all that, and they say that's the preferable way to do it, is to work in the cloud, because you've got it always backed up. It's easier and all that. So since then, I've been working the cloud now, and I back it up at home here on a drive. But that Windows 10, what I'm saying is that cloud is fantastic. It's very transparent. It's just like seamless, I guess is the word that I want to use. So if you have Windows 10, be sure you're taking advantage of the OneDrive. That's what they call the cloud, OneDrive. And I guess Apple has basically the same type of thing. It comes free with the Windows 10.
Is that the one, is it called the OneNote Cloud or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Mine is just called OneDrive.
OneDrive,
OneDrive,
Windows, iCloud for Apple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Hey,
anyway,
Bob, hey, Bob, I need to ask you, were you on Cloud9 or what?
Basically,
Yeah.
the cloud is somebody else's hard drive somewhere else in a big room.
yeah.
Uh,
I wasn't very
you're
comfortable
renting
with that.
hard drive space somewhere.
Now I've gotten very comfortable with that in there, as long as I still have it backed up on a USB
Right.
hard drive at home here.
Wasn't there a song? Hey, you get off of my cloud.
All right, Jesse.
You're starting to date yourself there, Amy.
Sorry.
Jesse,
We used
what
to
are you
get
doing?
that at the sock hops in high school. back in the-
Beatles, huh?
No, wasn't that oh, who was it that did
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, yeah.
I think it's Rolling Stones.
Are we
Yeah.
okay
Yes,
now?
it is.
What? Mick Jagger. Hey, you.
All right. All right. Here we have Mick Rodriguez.
I have a MacBook Air laptop, and I have another Apple computer in my office, but I think I have an exterior.
Monitor.
Yeah, I think that. Don't you hook me up with one, Steve?
Yes, you have an external hard drive I helped you with a long
Yeah,
time ago.
We never loaded it though. We
You
just
never
put it
did?
in. No,
Okay,
but we'll get around to it when we go back to school.
okay. 2022, we'll all be back together.
I hope.
All right, Linda.
I have a Surface Pro that I use most of the time. I have a iPad Pro that I'm going to be adding in, starting to work on, and an iMac that's going to be coming pretty soon.
Wow.
Well, that's something I didn't cover and I totally forgot about is the iPad Pro. People are claiming you can do a lot of photo processing, Lightroom and Photoshop on the iPad Pro, but you've got to learn how to use an iPad Pro. My wife has one and it's challenging for me to help her with it.
Mm.
So anyhow, well, anybody have any other questions? Does that conclude
I
today's?
don't have a question, but I don't know, Steve, if you've continued watching, there is a Netflix original series, but it's on Netflix now, called Halt and Catch Fire. And it's, I think, 5 seasons long, and it's a good show. And it is about the birth of the personal computer. And it's got it's the people coming out of Berkeley and coming in from Texas Instruments and trying to ride that wave of technology. And I learned a lot about computers watching that show. And it's a good watch. The characters in it are a lot of fun because they're fictitious characters, but the products that they're showing are real.
It is good. It's a good show. I'm a little bit slow on watching it because my wife, since she's working at home now, got hooked on Korean dramas. And,
Oh,
He keeps
Lord.
suggesting it to me, and I never get around to the Korean dramas.
yeah, and so
Well, there,
but
yeah,
anytime the TV comes on, she gets the remote and we go to Korean dramas. They're actually they do quite a job. They're amazingly well produced.
I thought
But
they
they're-
come in the morning and at night.
I get stuck on those sometimes.
yeah,
You know, you just, well, they have subtitles at the bottom.
yeah, they have subtitles.
Yeah.
And she does deviate. She found one she liked that was a Chinese drama, and it was pretty good, but it was 48 episodes.
Oh,
So
Oh my
I
God.
think she was watching that for like 5 days. She would binge watch. You get so hooked on it.
well,
But-
I'm recommending Halt and Catch Fire.
Yeah, Halt and Catch Fire is good. I like it. I'd like to.
It's a term about something that you could put your computer in a mode that just makes it keep going on a loop until it just burns itself out. So the Halt and Catch Fire is it's a computer term.
Okay.
I have an announcement.
I check that out.
I have an announcement.
What's that?
Okay.
The documentary that I'm in it's been picked up by WQED or PBS.
Wow.
And
Fantastic.
Wow.
it'll be shown next month, and I'll let you know exact date. So I found that out yesterday afternoon.
Great,
So,
that's awesome. That's
yeah,
very
so
exciting.
on the move. Yeah.
Fantastic. I have a
Okay.
question
On the
for you,
Yeah.
Stefan.
Yeah.
Stefan,
On the move.
Yeah.
you also had some videos that you said that you made?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well,
Documentary. Yeah.
next Wednesday, it's going to be night photography by Kevin and Doug. And I don't know, and for Friday, since everybody that goes to the garden tomorrow, please try and have your pictures ready to show Friday that you take at the gardens on Thursday.
And you can send them to Steve
Yeah.
or show them on a screen
So
share.
you can be set up and I'll just share screen.
Okay,
Either way,
all right.
Oh, Steve, I got a question for you.
yes.
The Windows 10 antivirus Windows Defender, is that already on their, on the computer?
Yes.
It's not- When you install Windows 10,
Yeah.
it includes Windows Defender. It's included, it's built in.
So if I have any other, virus protection, I can just delete that,
Yes. If
uninstall.
you're comfortable doing it, some people aren't. Some people like to wear two hats,
It's nice to keep it on there, Tommy.
Depends on the brand. The only one I've tried so many different brands over the years, and the one I hated the worst, caused me the most trouble, was Norton. So I could be totally wrong. It could have just been a pilot error, but I never was happy with Norton.
There's not one antivirus program that'll catch 100% of viruses.
Yeah.
So if you're using multiples, you have a better chance of keeping the virus out of your computer than if you have just one.
Okay. Yeah, I got McAfee
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah, I would keep the Defender just as a backup safety.
All right.
Steve,
Yes.
I won't be able to attend that class tomorrow. There's been a couple of gentlemen that have come over and they're making a video of my story of when I was in Korea. So they're coming back tomorrow and they're going to work on it again.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Let us know when it's available.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, they're going to give me a copy eventually,
Okay.
but
How did they find you, Jesse?
how did they find me? Actually, the guy that that's tied in with it, he's a movie star, and somebody told him about it, that possibly they could make a movie, and I said, he asked me if he could find somebody to interview me, and I said, okay. So
Okay,
I'm not.
Fantastic.
Huh?
that's exciting. Keep us
You think
posted.
Brad Pitt's going to play you in Korea?
Pardon me?
You think they'll get Brad Pitt to play your part in Korea?
I was talking about Steve maybe playing the part.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But
Hey, Jesse, you got a lot of extras here. Don't forget us now.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of extras. We can really put something together.
Don't forget the story.
When
that
were you in
continues.
Korea?
pardon me?
When were you in Korea?
I was there when the war first started. I was in Okinawa in 1950, and my regiment went over there, and it lasted about 3 weeks before they liquidated them.
Thanks for your service.
Yes.
I was in Korea in 1970 through 71.
I served with 3 regiments while I was there and 2 divisions.
You
And
got the Towson Reservoir?
I went to the Manchurian border
Wow.
on the other side of the reservoir,
Okay.
above Pyongyang. So I was there 2 summers and 1 winter.
Wow.
And that winter was the coldest winter they had in 50 years.
It's better than 2 winters in a summer.
Yeah.
I was
Been
in
there, done that.
Manchuria. I was in the mountains in Manchuria, close to that border in May, and I thought I was going to freeze to death. It was so cold.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like it was kind of. it'd
You're
be
all aware of
horrible
the
winter.
Veteran History Project, aren't you? You know about the Veteran History Project, it's been out about 10 years now, where you can do your own tape with the Red Cross was doing it here for Long Beach area. And then they put your tape in the Library of Congress and send you a DVD of it.
Oh.
I'm there already.
Anybody not aware of that?
I wasn't.
I don't know, Rainey, Rainey,
Get that out to you.
she likes.
They've asked me to do it too.
Yeah, we did that with my father's records from World War II.
Yeah. It's a great program. It should still be going. I'll look it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
So I hope to see you guys, whoever wants to come at the gardens
Yeah.
tomorrow at 10.
Tomorrow.
And John, are you still on? John Bolin?
Yes,
Yeah. Are you familiar with the VA and the way it's laid out? Do you know kind of how to get there where we're meeting?
I went there Sunday morning for the first time, so I know exactly where it is.
Okay,
Lovely
good.
place.
Okay.
Very nice.
Nice, nice. I'm glad-
Okay,
I'm glad
good.
you're familiar with it then. Okay.
I'll see you.
All right. Bring,
See you tomorrow.
You guys have a nice time
Okay.
tomorrow. I'm going to be
Alright.
out on the golf course,
okay.
swinging the club and swearing at it.
All right.
All right,
All
we'll see everybody Thursday or Friday. Have a good time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Good day.
Bye.
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 Take care.